anybody else filters in. Thank you for participating in our remote meeting. We will be doing our best to facilitate a smooth meeting with participation. Before we begin, I want to review some guidelines and general instructions prior to the meeting. Please silence your other communication devices, such as your cell phone or desk phone. This will ensure that we are not hearing any feedback causing interruption during the meeting. After each agenda item, the chair, I will be announcing public comment. Zoom instructions for those on Zoom. If you would like to make a public comment on the Zoom screen, please click the raise your hand button. For those that are using Zoom on your smartphone, tap your screen, look for the more option, and then raise your hand button on the screen. And for those calling in on a phone line only, you can dial 9 on your keypad to signal that you would like to make a comment. So we are at the start of the meeting here, and let me open this back up. And this is the Riverside County Transportation Commission Western Riverside County Programs and Projects Committee. It's just after 1:30 on Monday, April 26th, 2021. We're going to call this meeting to order. And let me see here. Mr. Hoffman, would you be so kind as to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you. Please stand. You're able. Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and for the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, sir. Brings us to item number 3 in our roll call. If we could do roll call, please.
Thank you. District 1?
District 1 is here.
District 5? Corona?
Present.
Eastville?
Present.
Hemet?
Present.
Harupa Valley?
Here.
Menifee?
Menifee is here.
Marina Valley?
Here.
Marietta?
Here.
Norco?
Here.
Paris?
Here.
Wildemar? Thank you. We do have a quorum.
Excellent. All right, we got everybody here. It needs to be. So we're at public comments. Have we received any public comments?
We have not received any public comments, and I am not seeing anybody's hand raised.
Okay, as discussed a little bit earlier, there are a lot of different ways to make yourself known. If there are any public comments not on the agenda, let us know, and then now's the time. If not, we'll of course open up for public comments on each item. If somebody does decide to participate or would like to make a comment, you're going to be limited to 3 minutes or less. Okay. Seeing no public comments at this time, we're going to move to additions, revisions. Does anybody want to see anything moved around?
We have nothing.
Okay. And now we're to item number 6, and that's approval of minutes. Any commissioners or members of the public wish to speak on the minutes?
Give you a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, roll call, please.
District 1?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
Corona?
Aye.
Eastville? Eastville?
Aye.
Hemet?
Yes.
Harupa Valley?
Yes.
Menifee?
Yes.
Marina Valley?
Yes.
Marietta?
Yes.
Norco?
Yes.
Paris?
Yes.
Thank you. The item passes.
Excellent. That brings us to item number 7, and that's amendment number 1 to agreement number 1631-10200 with the County of Riverside to fund a project study report for Interstate 215 Ethanak Road interchange. I believe Mrs. Guisado, if you would walk us through this one, please.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, Chair Lorimar and committee members. In 2014, the Commission committed $2 million of Measure A Western County Corridors funding to study the feasibility of an east-west corridor, dubbed the Ethonac Expressway, between approximately Lake Elsinore at Interstate 15 and Menifee and Paris at Interstate 215. The cities and the county provided an additional $1 million to the study. Michael Baker was retained by the county to prepare a project study report equivalent in 2017, and in 2020, the completed study report was transmitted to the Commission. The study revealed 9 segments, as seen on the map that will show on the screen momentarily. Each segment is envisioned to be studied separately. Segment 8 to the top right of the screen in the brown maroon color is the Interstate 215 Ethonac Road interchange. The county has determined this segment to be the top priority to initiate further study on. You can now take the map down. Thank you. Last month, the county sent the Commission a letter indicating the agency used less than $1 million of the total $3 million, of the $2 million that the Commission authorized for the Ethonac Expressway corridor study. As such, the county has requested that the Commission consider allowing the remaining balance of $1,041,716 be applied to preparing a project study report for the I-215 Ethonac Road interchange. Staff supports the county's request and is recommending the committee's approval today. If ultimately approved by the Commission, staff will work with the county to execute an amendment to the original agreement to authorize this additional work. This afternoon, I am joined by John Ashlock from the county's Transportation Department. John is the project manager for the I-215 Ethonac Road project study report. We're both available to answer any questions you may have.
Excellent. Thank you for that report. Do we have any questions from commissioners on this item? Looking, I don't see any hands raised. I see Lisa not shaking her head no. Do we have any members of the public wishing to speak on this item?
Not seeing any hands raised.
Okay, excellent. Okay, last chance. If not, I'm looking for a motion.
District 5, move.
And Menifee will second, and then I'll just add, this is a good thing. It's a big project. It's going to be maybe 20 years by the time we get the entire expressway done, maybe even more, but it's great to see the funds being programmed for PSNR at this interchange. And I know Mayor Vargas from Paris is also pleased to see that moving forward. It'd be a great first segment to see get completed with the project. So I'll give you the second.
Excellent. We have a first and a second. Roll call, please.
District 1,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
Corona,
Aye.
Eastville,
Aye.
Hemet,
Yes.
Rupa Valley,
Yes.
Menifee,
Yes.
Moreno Valley,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
Narco,
Yes.
Harris.
Big yes for me.
Thank you. That item does pass.
Okay, excellent. That takes us to item number 8, and that's the Interstate 15 Express Lanes Project Design Build Contract Final Acceptance. And Mr. Thomas, could you please take us through this one?
Certainly. Good afternoon, commissioners. This is a good news staff report. No fanfare here, but just going to get right to the point. This is good news in that we're requesting that the committee approve final acceptance for the Interstate 15 Express Lanes project. This is a design build contract with Skanska Ames joint venture. We are asking for this final acceptance subject to the executive director's verification that all contract requirements for final acceptance have been met. And then secondly, to forward to the commission for final action. This design build contract has 3 distinct completion milestones, of which 2 have been met already. Substantial completion is the first one. That was when the express lanes were turned over to our toll service provider and that occurred on August 17, 2020. The second one is project completion. That's when construction activities were complete except for deferred punch list work. This completion occurred on January 15, 2021. And this is the third, which also requires the Commission's approval, which is final acceptance, and it is nearing completion. We've verified that the design builder is very close to meeting all the requirements. They've been met or they're imminent. Staff recommends approval of final acceptance of this design build contract, subject to the executive director's verification that all contract requirements for final acceptance have been met. I just want to mention that after final acceptance is issued, there's two outstanding items that will continue here for the next few years. The first one is there's a 2-year period of warranty that covers any defective work that may occur on the project. And then the second one is a 3-year plan establishment and habitat restoration period that also will start at final acceptance. So with that, concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Excellent. Thank you, David. Appreciate the report. Do any commissioners, would any commissioner like to speak on this item? Not seeing any. Do we have any members of the public wishing to speak on this item?
I'm not seeing any hands raised.
All right. With that, then I'm looking for a motion. Don't all jump at once. All right, we got one.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Roll call, please.
Thank you. District 1,
District 1, yes.
District 5,
Yes.
Corona,
Aye.
Eastvale,
Aye.
Hemet,
Yes.
Harupa Valley,
Yes.
Menifee,
Yes.
Moreno Valley,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
Norco,
Yes.
Paris.
Yes.
Thank you. That item passes.
Excellent, thank you. That takes us to item number 9. That's amendment number 1 to cooperative agreement number 1933-00400 with Southern California Regional Rail Authority for construction of Riverside layover and my layover facility improvement project. I believe that Marlon, you're going to be
Yes.
this, please.
Yeah, I'll handle that item for Bryce, who's out of the office today. Thank you. This item is requesting approval of an amendment to the Metrolink agreement for the Riverside downtown labor facility. We had a presentation on this project just a couple of months ago, but just a quick refresher. The contract was awarded in June of 2019, was substantially completed in March 2021, just last month. The project adds new tracks at the layover facility, allowing overnight storage of trains, and adds facilities so the trains can be serviced overnight. No more dirty bathrooms in the morning. Next slide, please. To complete the contract, we have a cooperative agreement with SCRRA or Metrolink for project support. This includes reviewing submittals, flagging, inspection, and other services. Since we are pretty much at the end of the project, most of the funds have been used. There was a wayside power cabinet, which is pictured here, existing on the site at the beginning of the project, and the plan was to reuse the cabinet on the project. However, during construction, Metrolink started having problems with other similar wayside power cabinets due to their age and the capacity, and so they started to replace them, and they requested that we replace this one as well. We received some quotes from the contractor to supply the cabinet, but we found that Metrolink can supply us with one of their cabinets for a much better price that we can get elsewhere. Next slide, please. So we are requesting approval of an amendment to the Metrolink contract in the amount of $109,999 to pay for the power cabinet. that concludes my presentation, except I guess I will add one thing. Something unexpected happened over the weekend. One of you or someone might be aware of it, but there's an old packing house that is located right adjacent to the project, or there was. A couple of days ago, it burned down. It was major conflagration and burned all the way to the ground. We've assessed the damage to the site, and it's very minor. So we'll be able to make all the repairs without using the contingency, and there'll be no problem there. Fortunately, there were no trains parked there at the time because they would have been damaged. So that concludes my presentation. Is there any questions?
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the presentation. All right. Looks like, well, of course, any commissioners, please raise your hand if you would like to speak. I do see one commissioner speak, please.
Sam, thank you. And Marlon, thanks for mentioning that. That was one of the first things when I heard about that fire. I was wondering whether or not, and I saw a video, didn't see any trains there, but I wondered whether or not there was any heat issues or anything else, because that thing burned hot. It was really sad. I was really hoping that they'd find some use for that building. It's such a cool building on the inside, built in the 20s, one of the last ones there that hadn't been converted to something else. But cost wise, this looks great. I love anytime that we can do, storage. To me can turn into additional jobs at some point. Maybe we have a little bit of more, the more room we have, the better it's going to be for all of us. So this looks good. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Mr. Hoffman.
Thank you. I see the number 999,000 and all those nines, and that throws up flags to me. Because that always means it's either going to be way more or we're making a guess. And I like the project. That kind of numbering, it just doesn't make any sense when I see it, because it throws up flags. Marlon, can you explain a little bit more where that number came from? Was that just an estimate?
That is the actual number that came from Metrolink. I don't know why it's 99,000. That number actually does include a contingency of $10,000 in the amount. The 109,999
Yes.
does have a contingency, so that if it's a little bit off for some reason, then there's enough money to cover it. But the price is $99,999. I don't know why. It seems strange to me too, but maybe they wanted it to be under 100,000.
And that's it. I mean, those kind of numbers throw flags up after reading contracts for years. So I appreciate your comment on that. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for the comments. Do we have any additional comments from commissioners at this time or questions? Okay, not seeing any. Do we have any members of the public wishing to speak on this item?
I'm not seeing any.
Okay, with that then, looking for a motion.
So moved.
So moved.
We have a bunch of firsts. Do we have a second in that?
Harris, second.
Okay, perfect. Roll call, please.
District 1,
District 1, yes.
District 5,
Yes.
Corona,
Aye.
Eastvale,
Aye.
Hemet,
Yes.
Tarupa Valley,
Yes.
Menifee,
Yes.
Moreno Valley,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
Norco,
Yes.
Paris.
Yes.
Thank you. That item does pass.
Perfect. Thank you. That brings us to item number 10, and that's the Low Carbon Transit Operations Program Resolution. Looks like Mr. Peterson, you're going to take us through this one.
For sure. Yeah, good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. Today's option would be to go ahead and adopt resolution number 21-005. This will be a resolution of the Commission regarding the authorization of the execution of the certifications and assurances and authorizing agents forms for the Low Carbon Transit Operators Program. This will be for the expanded Paris Valley Line Operations Project for fiscal year 2022 with funds in the amount of $864,540. These funds will be used to continue the operating funds of the Paris Valley Line weekend service that was started in October 2019, and we'll continue that program for the remainder of the FY22. So hopefully that was short and sweet. I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have.
It is short and sweet. Appreciate it. Do any commissioners wish to speak on this item?
I mean, I'm a little bit bummed that we didn't have a great acronym for that, but I'm sitting here trying to think what it's going to be, but there's got to be something. I'll work on that, Sheldon.
Yeah, they call it LC Talk, so that helps it anyway. You know, yeah, you always got to get creative.
I like it.
Excellent, thanks.
Government and acronyms, gotta love it. All right, do we have any other comments from commissioners or questions? Okay, not seeing any members of the public wishing to speak. Don't see any. Okay, all right, looking for a motion.
Hammett moves approval.
Paris,
We had a second.
Okay, one first, bunch of seconds. Roll call, please.
District 1,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
Corona,
Aye.
Eastbound,
Aye.
Hemet,
Yes.
Harupa Valley,
Yes.
Menifee,
Yes.
Moreno Valley,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
Norco,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Wildemar. Sorry, he's absent. That item does pass.
Excellent, thank you. Brings us to item number 11. That's Measure A, Specialized Transit Award Recommendations for fiscal years 2021, 22 through 2023 and 24. Ms. Morales.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. I have a brief PowerPoint presentation for your consideration today. Next slide, please. The Measure A Specialized Transit Program receives about 1.9% of the 2009 Measure A Western County Program revenues. The program provides funding to benefit older adults, persons with disabilities, and/or those who are most vulnerable and truly needy within Western County. In Western County, this funding has been distributed through a competitive process to a wide array of nonprofit and community organizations that serve these constituencies for specialized transit services specifically. The Measure A Specialized Transit Call is a 3-year cycle. The Commission is about to finish its 5th cycle of the program in June of this year. And as with previous calls, the goal is to have a seamless transition between cycles. In order to be able to start the 6th cycle on July 1st, the Commission approved the release of the program guidelines and application with a total of $8.76 million in available funding. Application submittals were due on February 17th, and the Commission received project applications from 16 agencies. Next slide, please. 19 total projects were submitted. Of eligible projects submitted, 14 were for operating projects, 2 for mileage reimbursements, and 3 for capital projects, all totaling $9.7 million in requests. After final scores and analysis, staff determined that some applications exceeded the maximum amount allowable per project or included non-eligible expenses. With that information, staff worked with agencies to adjust the funding requests. The new proposed award total roughly $8.95 million, which is only $191,257 more than the approved available balance, of which we do have fund balance in reserve and would like to utilize that funding. This slide shows award amounts in ascending order by type, but you can find award amounts by ranking order in your agenda on page 30. Next slide, please. The City of Menifee submitted an application for a dial-a-ride voucher program. However, it was determined that their request was not consistent with the specialized transit goals, since it would create new dial-a-ride trips rather than mitigating growth on the more costly service. The city hoped that through this voucher program, it would be able to gather information to develop a more robust specialized transit service for its residents in the future. In discussion with city staff, the city opted to rescind its application and RCTC staff recommended that a more detailed analysis be completed prior to the deployment of a new program or service. RCTC staff recognizes the city's need to address their specialized transit population and propose to work with the city in a pilot project that will provide a tailored city-level market analysis of its senior, disabled, low-income population, including surveys, community meetings, and outreach with local service agencies. Provide education and outreach to maximize existing resources, conduct mini symposium to bring in other small nonprofit providers in the Measure A network to share best practices, experiences, and project development ideas, as well as provide practical recommendations that the city can take to deploy a pilot program. Staff recommends approval of this pilot project as it fits within the goals and objectives for Measure A specialized transit program, which includes building capacity. Looking at the larger picture for specialized transit, RCTC staff hope that the outcome of this analysis can be used for other communities within the region as well. Next slide, please. As indicated on this slide, staff is seeking the committee to approve recommendations 1 through 5. This would approve the roughly $8.9 million in contract awards for the Measure A specialized transit program, $150,000 for a specialized transit program with the city of Menifee, and allow staff, legal counsel, and chair or executive director to prepare agreements and forward to the commission for final action. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Excellent. Thank you, Monica. Do any commissioners have any questions related to this item? I'm not seeing any hands being raised. Do we have any members of the public wishing to speak on this item?
I don't see any.
Chance, if not, looking for a motion on this item?
Move to approve, Harris.
Norco seconds.
We have a motion and a second. There's no further discussion, roll call, please.
District 1,
District 1, yes.
District 5,
Yes.
Corona,
Aye.
Eastvale,
Aye.
Hemet,
Yes.
Carupa Valley,
Yes.
Menifee,
Yes.
Moreno Valley,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
Norco,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Thank
you. That item passes.
All right, we're moving right along. We are at item number 12, and that's the 1591 Express Lanes Connector update. Mr. Thomas.
Pardon me, Chair.
Yes.
We are having a cache issue on our website. We posted our agenda without this presentation and then added it immediately afterwards. And if you had downloaded it already, it's not showing on the website unless you hit refresh. So I wanted to defer to legal, make sure it's okay. We still did this presentation. It doesn't require any action, but is a presentation item.
Is Steve on the
Yeah, I
line?
don't have it on, it's not on my agenda that I downloaded online.
Okay, in that this is not an action item, is it still okay to receive?
There's not going to be
legal-
any discussion on the item?
What was the item? I don't even know what it is either. It's not on mine.
So what's stated here for this report, at least on this, the agenda I have in front of me, is that it's for the commission to receive an oral report about the 1591 Express Lanes Connector project. I don't know if there's any urgency to this. If there are legal questions, I defer to legal.
Well, if there's no discussion required, if it's just a report, that's probably okay.
I think it's just information and the fact that it started. So I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, if Wes is okay with it, I'm okay with it.
I just asked that there not be any discussion afterwards if there's.
Too late.
Okay.
No discussion following the report. There'd just be a report.
Yes, ma'am. I promise.
Thank you.
That was my
We do
left hand.
apologize for that.
All right.
Okay, Go ahead, Ann.
And so since it's not on the agenda currently on our website, perhaps it's a report under executive director report.
Well,
David can do the presentation there. Okay.
That makes sense.
let's do that. Let's move on at least. So I believe that I'm looking at a different agenda. That would be item 12, and that is the commissioners and staff reports.
Yes.
Okay, we're on to that then. And do we have any presentations?
Commissioners, I would like to have David Thomas provide a presentation on the status of the 1591 Express Lane connector on my behalf.
Excellent. Please, Mr. Thomas.
I was hoping for that update. Thank you so much, Ann.
If there's a will, there's a way. I love it.
Hello again, commissioners. So it takes some of the pressure off, since I know you can't ask any questions at the end. So, but this request for an update, I think, was requested by Commissioner Berkson, if I'm not mistaken, last month. And it is really timely because tonight we are going to drop our first, not drop, but place our first piece of K-rail on westbound 91, which is where our work will start. You can go to the next slide, please. So just to kind of recap the scope of this project, this is a design build project. We've proceeded with the design to the point where we're just about to start some of the construction work. There's really 3 or 4 major components of the project. They're kind of color coded to match with the exhibit that you see to your right. The first is the east to northbound connector from the express lanes, 91 express lanes to the 15 express lanes, and then vice versa, heading south on 15 to westbound 91. The project also includes an extension of the express lanes through the interchange. You see the yellow and blue lines. The yellow is a striping which extends the buffer and express lane about half a mile to the east. And the blue is actual physical widening to connect what is the number 4 general purpose lane through the interchange that drops just before the 15. It's to extend that and connect it up with the auxiliary lane on the east side of the interchange that continues on to McKinley interchange. So those improvements eastbound are to help with some of the congestion that's occurring in the afternoon peak period. So I mentioned this is a design build contract. Our design builder is Myers Rados JV. We also will be utilizing Capsh, the same toll service provider that we have on the 15 express lane project for our toll service provider. And then Parsons is also our project and construction manager for this project, doing the oversight with RCTC. The schedule for construction, as I mentioned, is starting this month, and the project is expected to be completed in 2023. Overall, this is a $270 million investment. The construction contract by itself is about $160 million of that. And we expect this project to create 2,300 jobs. Next slide. So the project benefits probably pretty obvious, but it's reduced traffic congestion, improve operations, and enhance safety, and specifically to provide the missing connectivity and increase travel reliability between the 2 tolling facilities to and from the north on I-15. Next slide. So, the normal construction impacts that you would expect with a project, reduced shoulders, lane closures at night are going to be typical on this project as well. But there's really 3 major components of the traffic handling that I wanted to cover today. And so this is the first one. The first kind of major item that you will see out there. We are starting along the 91 eastbound is the first work that's going on, but not too long after this, in fall of this year, we will be implementing what we call a crossover. It's where we will take the southbound 15 express lanes that just opened up, and we'll shift the southbound over onto the northbound side of the roadway, or the 15, and that will be barrier separated between the northbound and southbound express lane movements, as you can see in the diagram. This is actually a pretty innovative concept that our design builder proposed. And what it does, you can see where the work zone is. It basically allows the contractor to enter and exit from that work zone coming off the southbound general purpose lanes and not having to impact our express lanes during construction. So this will really reduce some of the impacts on the express lanes. The alignment for the crossover is still being designed for 65 miles per hour, so there'll be good speed through here. We really don't expect much impact to express lane operations. This is really a good thing for the project, but it is a major traffic shift that you'll be seeing here in the near future. Next slide. Second major kind of component of our traffic handling for the project are the use of 55-hour weekend closures. Specifically, these will be directional. What you see in the photo, the two photos, it's the same bridge, but this is the south connector that was constructed with the 91 corridor improvement project. And you see the temporary supports there underneath the bridge. We call that false work. The false work is constructed so that we have a basis to form the superstructure, the top part of the structure for the bridge. So we expect 4 of these 55-hour closure windows. And again, they're directional, so there'll be 2 for each of these directions. So for westbound 91, when we construct the section of bridge that will cross over the westbound 91, there will be a false work closure or 55-hour closure in early 2022. And then again, for the removal of that false work in late 2022. Similarly, on I-15 southbound, where those same flyovers will cross over the southbound 15, we'll be using 55-hour directional closure there in mid-2022, and then expect the second one in early 2023. 55-hour closures are becoming more and more common practice in construction, and we think these will go well with sufficient public outreach around them. The next slide is really our third component, major component of the traffic handling. This component was developed because of the tight workspace that we have. So this, what you're looking at, is eastbound 91. And this is where we have recurring congestion on a daily basis, not just in the general purpose lanes, but also in our express lanes. In order to construct the approach portion of the connectors, you see the second work zone there to the right. It's a very tight work area. In order to have enough work area for our contractor, we are going to shift traffic over to provide a workspace. And in order to do that, where we really don't have a lot of room, as you approach, if you look at the left side of the diagram, as you approach the 15 connector split off from the 91, there's actually a 6th general purpose lane that develops. You see the little pop out there, reduction of lane number 6. We are going to basically restripe so that that 6th lane no longer opens for a period of about 9 months. And so there'll be the same 5 lanes that approaches that location will continue. And then it will split like it shows here on the diagram at the right side. And there'll be 3 lanes that separate to I-15, which is what you have today, and only 3 lanes that continue to 91. Today you have 4 lanes, and then there's a lane drop that occurs after that split. So this restriping will basically remove that lane drop, the number 4 lane. And we've done traffic modeling, traffic simulation of this configuration. It does show things getting a little bit worse, but there's kind of a trade-off here between opening up a 6th lane and then also removing a lane drop. So it gets a little worse and it gets a little better by removing the lane drop. And what our traffic operations model shows is that traffic can expect about a 2 to 3 minutes of additional delay coming through this area pretty much on a daily basis. We also expect that the peak period spread will increase about 15 minutes on either end of that peak period. So that's really what we expect. It's fairly minor in the big picture of things in an area that's already very congested. There's one more component that we're also working on there. The 3rd bullet you see is a possible downstream improvement that we may be able to put in place early. And what that would do is free up that 4th lane downstream of this location and have more capacity downstream. So we're trying to work it out so that our schedule for this work, which is one of the last stages of construction, stage 3A, scheduled for summer 2022 to spring of 2023, that will have that downstream improvement in place when this goes into effect. So those are the 3 major components of our traffic handling. If we go to the next slide. This is a design build project, but even though it's design build, our contractor is still required to provide staging plans, traffic handling plans, a traffic management plan. We have lane closure requirement charts, all the things that you would normally have in a conventional design project. And those are all subject to RCTC's review and our consultant's review. So it's the same process. Things just get overlapped a little bit with design build, a little bit more than usual. But we will also have, we've also already implemented additional construction freeway service patrol. And we will be utilizing COSI, CHP assistance during construction for the no shoulder and closure periods during the contract. In addition to that, we'll be using our normal methods of public outreach to advertise the upcoming changes and closures, utilize advanced roadside signs and overhead signs for any lane changes or closures that will be coming. Next slide, please. Just some ways to stay connected with the project. If you look at the 4th bullet down there, I actually just did that yesterday to make sure it works. If you want to go ahead and type in connector and text it to that number that's shown there, you will be placed on a text chain for any upcoming information on the project. I think that's probably the simplest way to stay connected to the project, but we have all the usual ways to stay informed on this project. That concludes my presentation. I don't know if there are any questions or if I can answer any questions.
Yeah, appreciate that. I see people are restraining themselves because a lot of information there. Do we have any other staff presentations or commissioner reports?
I would only sum up that I just signed up for my connector alerts here very quickly, and it's already popped up on my cell phone. But also, commissioners, we will provide additional updates on this project in the near future as we get under construction, and that way we can have a full discussion and dialogue. But the project is getting started. We're very excited about it. This was one of the missing links that we could not afford to build with the original project. So it's exciting that it's under construction, and this is if you recall what it looked like when the other big connector was under construction, we've got another big connector coming here, and it's a significant amount of work. But we will come back again shortly with another update so you can have full discussion. Thank you.
Excellent, appreciate that. We do have two hands to both commissioners. Please keep in mind that this was more in the comment section, but we'll start with Mr. Bergson, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I know the reins are on me and I can't ask a lot of questions, but I just wanted to make sure it does come back to us because I do have questions that I would like to ask. So if we can get this back to us, that would be great. And I do appreciate, Dave, the update just in general. So hopefully we can have this back soon and then I can open up and ask the question. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Bergson. Mr. Speak.
I'm practicing restraint, but I just wanted to offer a comment. Thank you. This project has been long awaited. I know that there will be hiccups and bumps in the road like there usually is, but I'm very happy this project is going forward. I think in the end, it's going to be a much needed and much needed project. And I just want to thank you. And I'm looking forward, as Commissioner Bergson said, to being able to ask all my fun questions. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Do we have any further staff reports or comments or commissioner comments? I am not seeing any. Last chance. Okay. Great meeting today. We have reached our adjournment. The next Western Riverside County Programs and Projects Committee meeting is scheduled to be held same bat time, same bat channel. That's going to be 1:30 p.m. Monday, May 24th via Zoom. Appreciate your time. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mike.